Hello beauties, this is Edmund and welcome to the Bumpy Bones Locksport channel. Now in this video I'm going to be talking a little bit about myself. I wanted to do an intro video that talks about my disability and how it impacts me with doing lockpicking and fine work, in particular with the hands. I also wanted to talk a little bit about my tools and how I customize them around my disability and how I approach the art of lockpicking. So before I begin, I do want to say I am not a professional lockpicker. I am not a professional locksmith. I have only been in the hobby of lockpicking for about 3 or 4 months, so I am a total noob. I am creating this channel to document my journey in the art of locksport and lockpicking. And so I want to share my journey, especially with being physically disabled and having issues with the hands. I did want to make a few videos around how I adjust my approach depending on how I'm feeling that day and my pain levels and all that. So a little bit about my condition. I have a rare genetic condition called Multiple Hereditary Exostoses. It forms benign bone tumors on the bones of the body, and it can be pretty much any bone of the body. But historically they said the long bones, at least when I was growing up, it was supposed to be long bones, but it's really any bone in the body you can get it. And it does not impact this people the same. There are people with MHE who have 1 or 2 tumors throughout their body, and there are people with MHE who have hundreds of tumors and have had really impacted in their growth, stature, and the length of their arms and legs. So it is a condition that has a wide range of impact. Personally, I fall kind of in the middle to higher end of that. I have had, up to this point, I'm almost 40 years old and have had about 32, 33 surgeries throughout my life, most as a kid, but I've had some as an adult. Both of my hips have been totally replaced. I've had, you can actually see, I've got a bunch of scars like on my wrist. Almost every joint of my body has scars at this point, with the exception of my elbows. And the thing with the condition is that it also can cause chronic pain. And I get that a lot in my hands and wrists, and particularly my right elbow. If I show you kind of my lower arm, if I can get that in the video, you can kind of see my arm is a bit weird shaped and all that. I do have a permanent radial head dislocation of the elbow, so it does cause some issues in terms of trying to find leverage and all of that. And so it can be a bit fun to kind of work around with that. Before I continue, just because you probably noticed that little bit of a break in the video, I am not a professional video editor. I am a professional programmer. I enjoy a bunch of different hobbies, including archery, woodworking, and computer gaming. So I don't have time to really edit my videos. So I do my videos in one take. And so I hope you enjoy them. If you do enjoy my videos, please like them. Please feel free to post comments. I am not in this to make money. I am really just into this to share my journey, share my love of this hobby, and hopefully to give people ideas on how to approach stuff like this if you do have a disability or have issues with your hands and all that. So or chronic pain or anything like that. So kind of the side effect of my condition is I do have a lot of chronic pain. Right now I'm wearing compression gloves because my hands right now are particularly kind of bad. If I take my left glove off, one thing that is really bugging my left hand right now, and I actually have a hard time holding like a practice lock here. If I'm holding it like this, I get a lot of pain right in here and up in here. I actually have a tumor right at the top of my left index finger here. You can see that little bump that the tendon likes to go back and forth over right now. So the compression glove helps with that. And then on my right hand, I actually had the same thing with my ring finger, but I had a surgery a few years ago to remove that tumor, so that's a little bit better. but you can see with my left pinky how that kind of just juts off to the side there. And so gripping things can be a bit fun, especially like pencils or the shape of a lock pick and all that. And the other kind of fun thing is if I stretch my arms out, you'll see, and this one's about a good 2-3 inches longer than my right arm. As a kid, my right arm was shortened 3 times in order to prevent bowing of the arm. So I have a lot of issues like that I try to work through. I do apologize if it seems like this does shake. My current lockpicking workbench is a folding table. And I'm using a cell phone to record this video, so it's stationary over that, and the table will sometimes shake. So I do apologize about that. I am working on trying to get a better setup with this, but I did want to create this video to share some of this stuff. So let me share my lock pick collection and how I customize locks and the lock picks that I use in order to enjoy the sport. So you can see some of my picks here, but this is just kind of a fraction of my collection. I love the Sparrow's Sherman case. You can fit a ton of picks in there. So you can see I have a wide variety of picks. But I'm going to talk about kind of the brands that I'm using and why I'm using them and what I do to them in order to make them a little bit more comfortable for me to use. So let me start with talking about lock picks, and I'm going to start with Cobra Instruments. That's my favorite brand right now. If you're just starting lock picking, I highly recommend starting with them. They're comfortable lock picks, and they have some really good sets. Now, the one thing I don't like about Cobra Instruments is you can't buy individual picks. You have to buy them in a set. So you have the Genesis set, which is a great intro set, and then you have the Echelon set, which is kind of a expansion on the Genesis. And what I really like about their picks is the handle's a nice wide handle. It's nice to hold. I don't outbox when I get them. I don't have much of an issue. They are smooth, so trying to get you can see I'm fumbling with this one a bit. A good grip on it is a bit hard. But what I've done with a lot of my picks is I use a bowstring for my archery skills, and I did a bowstring wrap on them. Now, I started doing this on the Sparrow picks, and I'll cover the monkey paws here that I have in just a moment. But a few days ago, a fellow lockpicker, Sandman, did a video on him modifying the handles of his Cobra Instruments with marine shrink tube, and I'm building out these really nice thick handles. And I saw that, I was like, oh, that's nice. And so it gave me the idea of doing the bowstring wrap. And I love doing the bowstring wraps because it does give a lot of texture to it. The bowstring is wax, so it does give it a nice handle. So you can see I can manipulate this one a lot easier than just the pure metal and all that. Sandman actually replied to my previous video on it and mentioned, or a comment that I made on his video even, and saying that doing a combined approach would be interesting. I might, do that and make it a little bit thicker. But what I like about the bowstring is it does keep it a low profile. So in the Sherman case here, you can see that all the picks fit nicely with it. So again, my workbench right now is a folding table about the size of my lap, so I don't really have the stands to put my picks on. So I want to keep them as low profile as possible. So the other thing I like about the Cobra Instrument picks is the profile. It's a bit of a thicker profile at the tips. And so when I'm doing the lock picking, I can locate myself a lot easier than the Sparrow. Sparrow lock picks are great. I love them, but they are a much finer profile. And so trying to get to the exact location with that can be a bit fun if you're learning what to do. So with Sparrow, what I really like with Sparrows are their picks with thermal handles. This is Owlbox. I don't adjust these at all because they are really good. I can grip these really nice, especially when I have to wear my compression gloves and all that. And they work extremely well. The profile, this is their short hook, is a little bit thinner than the Cobra Instrument, so it does have a bit of a Trying to keep where I am as a new picker can be a bit fun, but I really like the thermal handles with sparrows. These are from their monkey paw sets, and I love the monkey paws. The problem that I had with them is that they don't offer these with the thermal handles. And so I had a really hard time holding them. And so this is actually where I started to do that bowstring wrap with, and that improved my grip with them. Now I'm probably going to go through and add a couple more layers on this just because it still is very thin. I can hold it, it works, but I want to make that a little bit thicker. But what is nice with sparrows is they actually do have wide body picks. Now, again, the thing that I don't like about them is that there are specialty picks. They are engraved picks. And so you can see here's the octarake. So you got this nice engraving on it. But even out of box without doing my wire wrap, I can handle this a lot easier than I could that. But I did do my bowstring wraps with them, and it just improves that gripability with it. But jumping back to Covert Instruments, they offer the Covert Companion, and I absolutely love this. I have everything on this one, and one of the criticisms I see a lot with it is when you do everything, it is very thick. That's over an inch thick. My thumb's about an inch wide, so that's about 1.25 inches in width. But that's what I want. I want something I can hold on to, and so if I'm having a really hard time gripping, this comes in very handy. Now you do have to hold it a bit different. You do more of a lockpick style or ice pick style with this, but it for me this works extremely well. And I also have the riv pick with it, and even this works good because this is a bit of a thicker handle. You get 4 picks, which is really nice with it. But this is a bit oddly shaped. It's not uniform. And there are days that actually works really good for me, because if my thumb here is feeling good, but I'm having issues with these fingers, this gives me a little bit of leverage that I can use to manipulate the pick a bit more. And so that odd shape can help out a bit. And that's one of the very important things about my approach, is that I have to have multiple tools of the same thing that are different shapes, different feels, and all of that, depending on the level of pain I'm at for that day. And so, I constantly have to kind of adjust my approach with things. And a really good example of this are the combs here. So I actually just got these combs in the mail today from Sparrows. This was from their Orion set. I also have the Ergo combs from Covert Instruments. I love these combs. These combs are so easy to use, nice grip. You put that in, and voila, I can get that open. If I even go to the 150 here, I can go to the next size up, put that in, up, and it unlocks nice. However, with these combs, I have a really hard time with them. You can see that it's a very narrow profile. Even picking them up, I have a hard time with. So I'm going to grab the smaller comb here and I'm going to open this. I did it once, but it's hard for me to do. It's so narrow, and then this digs into the hand that I can't really get a good leverage on it, and you can just see me struggle on that. Yeah, I'm not going to get that open right now, and I don't want to get my hands going. So the size and the shape of the handles and the picks is very important, especially when you have like arthritis or chronic pain in your hands and you have a hard time handling such fine tools. So that's my approach on the picks and all of that. And it's similar with the turning tools. Now, when I pick locks, I like using bottom of the keyway, and this is really where things get a bit challenging. So bottom of the keyway tension, so I got a master lock number 3 here. So I have these turning tools here from the Cobra Instrument Genesis set. Now, you'll see I did the same bowstring wrapping on all of my turning tools because it helps improve the gripability with it. And so bottom of the keyway tension is exactly the way it sounds. You insert the turning tool into the bottom of the keyway, and then you can pick the lock and hold the padlock like this, and this is comfortable for me. The problem with this approach is you can see it takes up almost half of the keyway, and so it really restricts the amount of space that you have when you go to pick the lock. And master lock padlocks, doesn't really matter. I haven't run into any issue with that approach with the master lock padlocks. Where I run into the issue though is with American locks. So American locks, I can't really use bottom of the keyway tension, because the way that would work is if I can get it in, sometimes what happens is when I'm applying the pressure, you'll see that rotates down even further and gets caught wedged in there, and then that wedges itself in the turning and makes it harder to turn. So with American lock, I really want to use top of the keyway, and that's where my problem is, because depending on the turning tool, so this is from the Cobra Instruments again, but the way that this goes, and let me get the thicker one here, you want to use kind of the thickest width turning tool that you can with this. So if I put that there, you see I now have to keep this finger straight out, and that can be uncomfortable for me. And so like doing the turning tools out of the Cobra Instrument, all of them are this profile, and I can't wrap those, and so it does cause a bit of a comfort issue. And especially with this, the other thing that happens is when I go now to pick, I now have a hard time getting my hand in position because of my elbow and wrist. I can't twist this up like this to keep that upward rotation, and I'll have to get used to either going to the side or down. And once I get more experience, I'm sure I'll be good with that, but learning how to do this, that does present a problem. In the Cobra Echelon set, they do have these top of the keyway turners here, which are nice. And so you can see it's a nice profile, nice angle, and so when I go to use this, it does allow me to have a better position, and this is more comfortable. This is going more now towards the bottom of the keyway, and so now I can get my pick in, and I can actually now work with this. However, I really love the spiral curved bars better. That curve in it does give me a better grip. It's not as much of an angle on this, so my finger is still going up that way, but it does still give me enough of an angle that I can still get a comfortable grip to get into these. Now, I'm not going to pick this. I'm having issues with the American lock right now. This is where I'm currently learning. Master lock I'm good with, but American lock I'm just starting with them, so I'm not going to try to pick that one. And so that's my approach with the turning tools and all that. And just real quick, practice is important. So I try to practice lockpicking every day. In fact, I have a series of padlocks, and I'll do a video on it at some point where I will go through all the padlocks I've got and show you my daily practice routine. But I've got a ton of different practice locks, and I really like the Sparrow practice locks, but I'm going to show those kind of a little bit later. But again, I want to show you the issues I have with the grips and all that. So this is the Cobra Instrument practice lock. I like it, but again, with these, I can't grip these without a specialized holder. And you can get grips for these, which is nice. I'm going to get them at some point. I do have this vise that I did fix to my folding table here, which is nice. I can just insert the lock here, and that gives me the ability to now, take my turning tool here, put that in, hold it there, and then pick. But again, when I'm now holding it like this, my right arm, I got to get that angle just right in order to comfortably hold the pick. Like right now, I can't pick that because I'm not at a good angle. But with this here, I can just loosen this up and move it around so that it is at a better position for me to pick. However, Sparrows does have a lot of good practice locks, and so right now my favorite is the Revolver. It is a heavy lock. That's my only kind of issue with it. It's a solid brass, so it's quite hefty. But because of the size, it is a little bigger than that. But the way that they got the edging, it's a nice, comfortable grip. I can grip that. I can do bottom of the keyway tension on that. Be comfortable. If I have to do top of the keyway, I can, and still be comfortable with it. Because I can rotate that and hold that at different angles. It gives me a lot more control over the way that I'm approaching it. The only thing I don't like about this is that you can't change the core on it. Sparrows offers different cores for their practice locks. You can't use them on this because the pins and the holes that are drilled into this are bigger than their other practice locks. So that's my only criticism on this that I don't particularly like. But one thing that I do like about these locks in particular is that when I'm using, especially the vise here, the arm here, I can use this turning tool of mine. And I always forget to mention this tool because, you know, it's one of those I'm on the fence with. But what's really nice with it is on days that I really am having a hard time with my hand, I can just put that in. And this works with padlocks and pretty much any lock. And put that in, and now you can just turn that. And it gives me a bit of a better hold than trying to hold the whole thing and all that. So this is a very, you know, people either love these or hate these. I'm on the fence with it depending on the day. But it's a nice thing for me to have in my collection. And then I also have all these other locks from Sparrows. Sparrows also offers a ton of practice locks. This is their Sidewinder. I like it. I particularly use it with this. I can grip it like this. It's a bit thicker than their other practice locks, but still, it's one of those things that it's still a bit awkward trying to hold. Like here, if I use this bar here, the grip just is not terribly comfortable. Top of the keyway is much better with that. And then you've got their progressive and then their cutaway locks. What I do like about these locks, though, is they do offer different cores for these. And so this is the quick set core that I have on this. This is the RW5. I cannot pronounce the brand on that. And then they also have a Yale core that you can get with it. So I do like these practice locks. And then I also have these guys here. These are other cutaway locks. I like the cutaway locks for practice. It does change the feel of the pens and the drivers. It doesn't work as a regular lock would, but it is nice being able to see. But I love the Dangerfield one here because this I can actually grip and work with. So you know, if I gotta do the bottom of the keyway, I can grip it and that's still comfortable for me. If I gotta do top of the keyway, it allows me to still change my grip and yet have a good grip on it and hold on it really good. And that's about it. I do have the Leashy. I was going to kind of show that off. Leashies are in my book, I like them. I will use this especially when I'm trying to learn the keyway, the doorway keyway. So I'm having a hard time with the sheg right now because, and I know I butchered the name of that. But I have a hard time with this keyway right now, just getting the pick in and having my movements fine enough to work in that shape of the keyway. So as I'm learning the where the pins are, the Leashy actually helps me out with that. Now, you know, it is a easier pick to use because it's an all-in-one and it does tell you where the pins are. So I do like them, but you know, it's only as a tool to kind of learn where I'm at, and then I progress to the regular picks, and it allows me to learn the keyway a bit better. So that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I am planning on making videos on the different brands of the lockpicks I use in a little bit more detail about you know, their grip and accessibility, and how I can use how they work for me. I am going to wrap these combs and see if I can make them a little bit more usable for me. That's one thing that I do like to do, is I do like to take stuff that I do have a hard time with and see if I can improve it for myself. So I'll probably do a video on that, with maybe doing a bowstring wrap, or maybe a shrink tube with bowstring or something like that, to build that out and see if I can make that a bit more comfortable. So I hope you all like this video. Always feel free to leave comments. I try to reply to the comments the best I can. And everyone have a beautiful day.